Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now for this video, I'd like to review a movie that I watched just last night on Blu-ray. Now this movie is a direct sequel to Smile, and it is called, appropriately enough, Smile 2. Okay then guys, as per usual, before I say anything further about the movie and give me thoughts on the storyline as a whole, I'll just read you the synopsis on the back of this edition just in case you're not familiar with this movie. Now, this movie is described as jaw-dropping, razor-sharp and inventive. I wouldn't argue with that. Right, about to embark on a new world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley, played by Naomi Scott, begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and the pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. So there you go, guys. That's the synopsis for this 2024 sequel to Smile, Smile 2, written and directed again by Parker Finn, who did the first one, and he also did the short film from which this franchise was sparked. Okay then guys, I'm going to discuss the movie now in detail, and at the end I'll give it a rating. Yeah, okay, so we've got a new protagonist in the form of this, pop star, Sky Riley, played brilliantly, I must say, by Naomi Scott. Now, this movie starts with a real bang, leads off directly from the first movie. I won't go into detail about the movie's opening scene because I don't want to spoil it for you, but it starts off with a real bang, literally a real bang, yeah. So then the story moves on to Sky then, as I say, played superbly by Naomi Scott. She's this worldwide pop star, idolised by millions all over the world and that, always on television, doing these great big sellout gigs and that, So it's basically what she's doing. She's had a very, really bad car crash in which her boyfriend lost his life. So basically she's been in like hospital and that, and she's trying to rebuild her life and that, get back on the scene and that, get working again and that, one day she goes to visit one of her friends, male friend and that, and he's saying, I try not to give too much away of the movie, guys. I just sort of like to skim over some of the highlights, and he's basically out of his cake and that, going on about it's like weird things and that, so basically he kills himself in front of it. He batters his face in with this like dumbbell, like this weight and that, real gory scene and that, There is quite a few bloody scenes in this movie, guys, and quite a few jump scares as well. So she witnesses him committing suicide by battering his face in and that. So the curse is then passed on to her, because if you remember, if you've seen the original Smile, if you witness anybody committing suicide, like the doctor in the first movie, the girl that came into the hospital and killed herself in front of her and passed the curse on. Very, very same thing happens here to Sky Riley. The curse is passed on to her, this grinning demon, known as the smiling demon. Yeah. So, okay, so she's contacted the curse, and basically all hell breaks loose from there. She starts seeing all these weird smiling people everywhere. There's like doppelgangers, and a successful pop career begins to take a real big nosedive, guys, because she starts making a fool of herself. In front of what she's doing, for instance, when she's doing these speeches and that, she sees these smiling demons and that materialize and that, basically throw her off course and that, and oh yeah, great portrayal here in this movie, guys, by this actress. She's fantastic, she really is, really enjoyed it. Yeah, Naomi Scott, yeah, did a great job. I did like this character better than I liked the Doctor in the first Smile movie. There was much more going on in this movie, guys. It did have its problems, which I'll get onto in a minute. Not to the extent that it ruined the movie for me. No, I did prefer, although I did like the first movie, and that had its faults as well. I love this one even better because there's more going on. It was more longer than that, and more, as I say, more going on to it, and it really gives you a multi-layered, insight into this, how this great pop star, our career is affected by this adverse demon, this malevolent demon, known as a smiling demon. Yeah, oh yeah, lovely picture quality as well. There's some stills there, guys, from the movie. That's a great one there. Jack Nicholson's son, where he's sort of like, when she's doing a speech and that in front of all the fans and that, this like gala, doing this gala speech, like the autocue goes off kilter and that, and she's standing there wondering what to say, and the next minute he's smiling at her from the audience. He gets up, oh, it's real creepy, and he walks towards her onto the stage. Oh, it's great. Yeah, Jack Nicholson's son, obviously inheriting his father's like infamous smile from The Shining. Yeah, that manic grin. Yeah. But oh yeah, great portrayal, guys. As I say, of the pop star, very realistic and that. There's one scene that made me laugh as well. I couldn't help laughing at it. The part where she's basically like she's starting to get all all worked up and that, and nervous and that, and she storms off. I think that it just happened after that scene actually, where she made a dog's breakfast of a speech, a girl's speech. She's basically storming back towards her dressing room and that, really flustered. And then one of her aides comes out, one of her main aides, or sort of like looks after her and that, he comes out, he walks down, just the way he walks down the corridor, and he's walking out, he goes, it's just the way he does it, you have to see it for yourself. I thought it was so funny and that, I was even more funny when she goes to a dressing room and he's just come from a dressing room and she hits the roof when she sees her dressing room's completely trashed and she sort of like accuses him and that, and he just basically throws his hands. I was like, I haven't been anywhere near your dressing room, why would I trash your dressing room and that? But I thought that was quite funny. Yeah, there is some elements of humour in this, guys, as well as horror, but I thought that was so funny. Just the way they done it, like the way he just walked out, just like say, not that the sand just walked on. You'd have to see it for yourself, guys, to see what I mean. It was like a scene from a comedy movie that made me smile. Yeah, pardon the pun. Yeah, but getting back to the serious part, very, very well done, very well executed. The appearances of the doppelganger, the demon, like in all its forms and that, and but led to a great. There was only one thing, guys. I did have a problem with. I think they went a bit too heavy with the jump scares, and they also went a bit too heavy with the dream sequences. Now, I don't mind a couple of one or two dream sequences if they're done well, but when you start doing them all the time and that, and then you start messing with reality, what's real and what isn't, and that, I thought to myself, I don't really like this aspect. Because you didn't know what was real when she was sort of on stage and that, and then arguing with her mother, arguing with her aides and that, and then when she was in rehab, and there's a couple of characters in this, guys, that I know, from a discussion on YouTube, people have been saying, did they exist? For instance, there's a guy who contacts and offers to help. I think his name's Morris. Yeah, this middle-aged guy is I think it was his brother was killed by the demon. He knows all about it, and he's got this sort of solution. He's an ex medical, he's worked in the medical profession as a male nurse. He knows all about ER, stopping the heart and that for so many minutes. And he suggests I won't give too much away, but guys, he suggests the only way to defeat this demon is by him to inject her with this drug that stops her heart for so long and that, in the hope that the demon, unable to find a nearby host, will just clear off, basically. But needless to say, it doesn't go well. Well, nothing does go well, guys, in this movie, to be honest with you. I won't go into too much detail, but it's a very, very dark movie, and I really enjoyed this. As I say, I did like the first movie, but I enjoyed this one much better. She's fantastic in this role, playing this pop star and that, carrying a lot of emotional baggage and that, and of course, which is only exacerbated by a contact with the demon, the curse of the smiling demon. But very well, real creepy scenes, and particularly the part in where when in an apartment where she opens the door, and they're all there, all her aides and helpers and that. They're all sorts of like a weird tableau. They're all just stuck still, smiling at that, oh yeah. And then, as I say, where the people are doppelgangers and that, there's a very, very weird scene near the beginning of the movie where she's signing autographs and that, and getting people coming up, her fans sign autographs and that, and she gets this weird fella. He looks as if he's just come from a Charles Manson cult, yeah. And he says will you smile? I love you and all that. He's sort of gushing, uttering all these sort of sickly statements of worship and that, and he says I love you and all that. And he's weird and that, and then you get this weird girl that comes up to her and she's just smiling, she's just smiling like that. Well, you know what you mean if you've seen the movie, the first movie, and if you've seen this one, you know what I mean. And she's quite weird, the little girl, yeah. And then you've got her mate as well, who she's had a row with. She hasn't been in contact for a year. You've got that aspect of her. She rings her up on that, and she comes around to her an apartment. Or is it her mate or is it not? So you've got all that. You see, you don't know even her mother. You don't know if it's one of the demons and that. There's a scene in this. Towards near the end of the movie that's very, very bloody, and it just, again, it did, this movie, as well as entertaining or some bucket loads, it did pose quite a lot of questions, guys, as I say, what was real and what wasn't and that. For instance, the guy what I just mentioned before, Morris, Was he real? Well, some people say he was real at the beginning when he first contacted her, but when she rejected his help, after that, he was sort of like a trick the demon was using to sort of like drive her out of her mind, basically. But oh yeah, really does. He did a good. Right? Parker Finn did a great job with this movie, guys, and I would like to see a Smile 3. But yeah, just had that elements of doubt about what was real and what wasn't, and that, and that sort of like threw me off a little bit, But having said that, it didn't detract to the extent that I switched the movie off, or I'd say I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. It held me attention, and a very well produced, good solid story, and there was a lot more going on than there was in the first Smile, So yeah, I preferred this one, although I did love, as I say, I did love the first one. I preferred this one better. I like this one better. Yeah, but the way the story was sort of like going off on this sort of like track of messing with reality, it reminded me of like if you Dallas interviewing on Dallas fans, if you remember 1985 when he killed off Bobby Ewing and that, when he got knocked over by the car, Patrick Duffy was going to. I don't want to go into too much about it, guys, because I'm just drawing the analogy up about what he did with his character Bobby Ewing. Like when he killed him off, there's a big outcry. Why did you kill Bobby Ewing off and that? In the summer of 1985, and they done a whole season out of Dallas without Bobby in it. But at the end of the season, they brought Bobby back. So what the producers were scratching their heads. Well, how can we concoct a story whereby we can bring Bobby back without being too ridiculous? I know we'll regard all the last series as a dream. So that's what they did. Yeah, all that the following season of Dallas that followed on from Bobby's death. That was disregarded as just a long bad dream by Pam, Bobby's wife. Because what happens in the next season after that, she wakes up in that and she hears this noise in the shower, and she goes, and there's Bobby standing there, and he says, "Good morning," as if he hadn't died yet. So it's similar to this, guys. It's like, is this part a long dream and that? Is it really happening? So there's that aspect in that. But I thought that was a good analogy. Comparing it with the Bobby Ewing episode in Dallas and that. Where there was a whole season that was just it wasn't real. So so I'm just wondering, like, even I'm still wondering now. I'm still wondering now what was real and what wasn't, and that, particularly about the Morris, the guy, the Morris character who offered to help her. Yeah, and then you've got her mate as well. There's some doubts about her when she goes to the apartments. Is that really her mate, or is it the smiling demon again playing its back to its old tricks? Yeah, but having said that, having disregard the flaws, guys. As I say, I enjoyed this movie, and I'm glad I bought it for my collection. I'm keeping it in my collection with Smile 2 to make a nice little double bill, and I hope there's a Smile 3. There's one other little minor gripe, guys. Just one itsy bitsy teeny weeny gripe. I thought they concentrated more on the fame aspect of it, and that although I did like that scenario. They neglected the developments of the demon, and that they didn't really go into detail about exactly what the demon was, when did it first start, inhabiting this earthly plane, its origins and that. I would have liked to see a little bit more development, a little bit more investigation into the demon's origin and that. But having said that, that's no big problem. For me with this movie, because I enjoyed it. It was a good roller coaster ride, and I wanted to see what happened, to this character at the end and that, Riley and that, but yeah, they very well. They really did the work, guys. Researching and really reproducing what the life of a typical, a superstar, a typical pop star is. He really got it over. They gave a good vivid insight into the pressures of fame and fortune, and being all over the media and having to keep up. So you've got that as well. You've got that other aspect as well. She's got to keep up with her dates and that, at tour dates and that, and her signings and that. And her mother's onto her all the time, and that's her mother's like, she's acting kind of like a very brusque manager. You've got to do this, you've got to do that, because if you don't do that, you're finished and that. So she's got that stress as well, on top of what she's battling with this demon that's sort of like just coming to her life and basically making her life a real living hell. So, but yeah, very well done, very, very multi-layered story. Yeah, because I could watch it again as well. I have to watch it again with the commentary. Yeah, so it's a great pity that the full history of the demon wasn't fully explored, because that would have consolidated the movie in that. But it's no big deal really. That maybe they'll do that in the third movie. Presumably they make it. Yeah, so it didn't really expand on the lore of the demon, and it didn't really give any ideas, any fresh ideas on how to combat it. Because I think they might have made a little bit of a mistake. if they're going to go on making the demon really powerful, you can't defeat it. It's just going to be a kill fest in every movie. That's me concern. It's going to be a kill fest. You know, going to kill so many people. They've got somewhere along the way, they've got to find a little chink in its armor to give the heroes a bit of a chance of defeating it, if you know what I mean. Like, for instance, Dracula, although he's a powerful vampire, he's got a weakness, hasn't he? Like, holy, you know, the cross, holy water. So they've got to find a way. I think Parker Finn's got to find a way of coming up with, like, a, you know, an Achilles heel, if you like, in this demon's, like, you know, its presence and that, its whole physical makeup, to sort of, like, give the heroes a bit of a fighting chance, you know, so that they've got, I said, they've got a little bit of a chance of defeating it, if you know what I mean. And there was some quite noticeable nods to The Ring, and it follows in this movie. I hated it follows, but I love The Ring, yeah. So that's quite evidence. But as I say, Naomi Scott really carries this movie, guys. She's absolutely fantastic playing this pop star whose life has sort of become a living nightmare, you know, as she sort of like battles against this horrific demon, you know, she doesn't know anything about, you know, and there's some quite a few bloody kills in it as well, guys. You know? Yeah, and as I say, I invested more in this character than I did invest in the Doctor of the previous movie. Yeah, very, very interesting character. Yeah, the film is multi-layered in terms of exploring the themes of trauma and psychosis, rather than just a surface level, straightforward case, if you like. So it goes into detail about it. Sort of like gives sort of like good signs of like people in trauma. It kind of a lot of emotional baggage what they go through in that, particularly you know, if you're an internationally famous pop star. Yeah, as I say, getting back to the dream sequence, guys, I don't mind it just at one or two maybe, but when you start getting large chunks of it, like, you know, peppered through the movie, my interest does start to wane and that, but luckily it didn't in this movie, you know. It held me interest because the story was quite strong, you know, but I do wish they did, you know, cut back a little bit on the dream sequences, like, you know, because they do jar, yeah, you know, and that flashbacks as well. I don't like the flashbacks. There was a couple of flashbacks in this, guys, where she had the horrific car accidents. She was flashing back, you know, which was covered in blood in the car and that, you know, so I think we could have done without that. Just one more fault I'd like to mention, guys. It always sort of like gets me goat this in horror movies. I've said it before. You know, when the hero or the victim or whoever it is confronted by the demon or the monster, what do? They don't turn around and run like Billy-O out the door. They seem to have this sort of like annoying tendency to fall back on the bum and sort of like scrabble frantically backwards. You know, if you know what I mean. Yeah, well, you get that here as well. You know, when she sees the demon and sees people committing suicide, she doesn't basically just, you know, leg it out the room and that, you know, as you would if you saw anything horrific, like falls on a bum and just like, you know what I mean, guys. Well, you know, if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean and that, yeah. But that's gone on with horror movies for years, and you even get the ones where they're just standing there and going, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me," instead of bloody running like hell out the room or whatever. Oh, enough said about that anyway, guys. Yeah. Okay, then, guys. So all in all, I did enjoy Smile 2. I think it was a good roller coaster ride of horror, thrills, and chills. And I say I can't fault the performance by this lady at all. She was fantastic playing the role of this international pop star and the demon. What she's got to do to sort of like battle against this demon. And yeah. So all in all, I would say Smile 2 was one of the better sequels I've seen over the years. I would rank it right up there with The Bride of Frankenstein, Psycho 2, Wolf Creek 2, a very, very worthy sequel. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you rent it, or better still, if you're a big Smile fan, add it to your collection, because this movie it's got a good rewatchability factor. Okay then, guys, on to me rating now. For Smile 2. I'm going to give Smile 2 an 8 out of 10, yeah, because I say I really enjoyed it and that, and as I say, I was really impressed by the performance of the main protagonist and that, you know, she did a fantastic job, and Parker Finn, hats off to Parker Finn for creating this nightmarish entity, you know, known as the Smiling Demon. But I would like to see, if they're going to make another one, I would like to see, as a lot of other YouTubers have said, they would like to see a little bit more exploration of the demon itself, its origins, how to fight it, and give it a bit of an Achilles heel, so that when the, you know, whatever new protagonist Parker Finn dreams up for his next movie, try and give the heroes like a bit of an even chance of defeating it. You know, if you know what I mean. As I say, it's like Dracula. You know, he's powerful and that, but you can defeat him like with certain ways. As I say, like holy water, stake through the heart. So just give the demon just that little bit of weakness to give it that, to sort of like tip the balance a little bit, rather than make it one sided and make the demon all powerful. Because if that's going to go on whenever he moves, it's going to get boring, guys. You know, I don't know what you think. You know, they're going to make the demon like really omnipotent that you can't defeat it at all. Well, it's going to go down and down, and that's going to end up like a Freddy Krueger fiasco. Yeah. Again, guys, about the you know, I'm sorry to go on about the, you know, the messing around with reality and that, but it's some parts of it did remind me of some of the Nightmare on Elm Street. You didn't know what was real and what wasn't and that. But I would say, having said that, shove that aside. I generally enjoyed it, so that's why I've given it a 8 out of 10. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Have you seen Smile 2? Do you share my opinion that it was better than the, you know, irrespective of its faults, better story than the first one? Leave the comments down below. Let's get a good discussion about Smile 2. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, guys. It made real good Sunday night viewing, and I look forward to Smile 3. Yeah, as I say, one of the best horror sequels I've seen in a long time. Okay then, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back again very soon with another video. Usually, if you like this video, please hit the share, subscribe, comment, and all going well, I should be back again very soon with another video. Keep smiling. Oh, maybe that's not such a good idea. Bye for now.